Hi earthy people, welcome back to my channel. I'm Gerard, Witch of Earth's Curious Goods, and well, today I thought since I need to make more holy water, I'd bring you guys along with me. So if this is something that you've always been thinking about, or if you have no idea how to even use holy water, we'll keep on watching because this video is definitely for you. So without further ado, let's begin. All right, so for those of you that are new to my channel, hi. For those of you that have been with me from the beginning, you already know that Catholicism does have a connection with my witchcraft. It is part of, especially from my Filipino side, Catholicism has a role in playing with being connected to some of my roots. And I was raised Catholic. But I am an eclectic witch, so Catholicism, I've taken some of its uses and added it to my craft because it works for me. Now, if none of this is resonating with you, then by all means, you have the right to stop the video, right? You don't need to keep on watching. But we're going to be making holy water. Holy water in my craft is used to consecrate, purify, bless, exercise. It also can protect and ward. There's so many uses for this water. And if you don't want to call it holy water, that's fine too. Another name a lot of people will use is just consecrated water, blessed water, angel water is another word. But I just call it holy water because that's what I think it is. And it works for me, right? We're gonna need some ingredients though. This is, it's not a lot of ingredients, but we will need a few things, okay? So the first thing we're going to need is angelica root, okay? And I'm just showing you how I make my, my holy water. Now, if this does not resonate with you, then by all means, you can kind of leave out the herbs that I'm about to go over because you could just use water and that's perfectly fine. But we're gonna need some angelica root, okay? And the reason why angelica root is used is because it's also connected to purification, exorcism, protection, warding. The folk name for angelica root is archangel, okay? And so we want that divine energy to be put into this water that we're creating, okay? Another herb that we're going to need is hyssop. Hyssop is also known for its protection properties, purification properties, exorcisms. It's kind of that herb that's used in a lot, especially in hoodoo. It is used a lot. And so we are definitely going to need some of that to make this. We're also going to need some rosemary. This is just a rosemary sprig from my garden that I have dried out. And this has been drying for months. So, but if you can't, if you don't have time to dry out the rosemary, maybe you just have rosemary essential oil or just fresh rosemary, that's fine too, but you'll need a sprig of that. And there's a reason why we'll need a sprig of it. And I'll show you in just in a few. We're also going to need some sea salt. If you just have regular salt, that works fine too. Today I'm using Palo Santo to cleanse everything. We're going to need some distilled water. If you have moon water, sun water, rain water, all of that is just as good. If you can't get your hands on any of that, by all means, then just use bottled water. Try to stay away from tap water because there's a lot of minerals and additions and chlorines and all kinds of additions to the water, and we want the water to kind of almost be in its original form but still safe to drink, if that makes sense. We're going to need a funnel, and the only reason why we need a funnel, maybe your container doesn't, but I have a funnel here because for my bottle here that I'm going to be putting the holy water in, it just makes it a lot easier to put it in. We're going to need a lighter. That's what's going to light my Palo Santo. And I have a strainer here because we're going to strain out those herbs once we add it to the water. Okay, we'll pause here, and in your practice, if this is not resonating, right, because and some spiritualists and some witches feel like unless you are unless you're a holy woman or a holy man, you can't create holy water. Okay, by all means, if you need to go to a church to get the holy water, then still do that. I'm just showing you what I've been doing for many years, and since I had to make some holy water, I thought I'd show you guys, okay? But it works wonders. I've never had any issues. Am I a witch? Definitely. Do I bless my water? Definitely. But I've been making it for many, many years. Do I eventually go to a church, or have I gone to a church to get holy water? Definitely, right? When you're in a bind, do what you can, okay? Make the magic your own, but don't feel like you're boxed in like Gerard makes his own holy water. I have to too. It's just, I've been doing it for years, so that's what I do, okay? So to begin with, we're just going to add 3 pinches of hyssop to the water. Okay, if you notice, I have my water in a glass container. I just prefer to use glass. You can use a plastic container. That's perfectly fine for this, but it's not going to really influence it, right? So I'm just adding 3 pinches of hyssop. And for those of you that have been around, you know how magical that number 3 is. We're going to take some angelica root. We're going to put 3 pinches of that into the water as well. Right. You're just going to take your rosemary sprig now, and you're just going to swirl it around 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're using rosemary because rosemary has protective properties as well, very cleansing properties, purification properties. So if you notice, that's what all of these herbs have in common, is it has that protection property, that purification, that consecration, right? That's the kind of energy that we're doing to. We want this to be a high energy, so that's why we're using these herbs. Okay, now if there are certain herbs that resonate better for you, then by all means use those herbs. Okay, some people will use lavender, rose petals, rose water. All of those things are all good things to use for this, but I'm just showing you what works for me and what I've been doing, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our Palo Santo. If you're not using Palo Santo, maybe cedarwood, maybe you're burning a lavender bundle. You can use sage. If you're going to use sage, though, kind of use sage at the beginning and then burn something like lavender or lemongrass or something of that nature afterwards, because sage kind of tends to bomb the area of all energies. And that may be a good thing. That might, now that I'm thinking about it, that may be a good thing for you because, you know, it kind of takes away all energy and you're just filling it with now higher energy. So that works well. But for me, I tend to use Palo Santo because it's cleansing, but at the same time, it also gives it some good energy to your area. It doesn't just bomb the area. So that's what we're going to do. So if you notice, I'm just taking my Palo Santo and I'm letting some of the smoke hit the water, right? Because we want to cleanse that water. Let some of the smoke hit the salt here. And another good thing is all of the materials like your funnel. You're going to want some of that smoke to hit your strainer. And then also with your bottle here, you're going to want some of that smoke to go inside the bottle. All right. The next part, it is something that needs to resonate with you. I am not going to share what I personally do to consecrate my salt and the water here with these herbs inside of it because it is personal for me. But if you have something that has worked in your craft, if you're Wiccan or if you just practice magic or if you're a Christian witch, whatever works for you on consecrating your water and your salt, you're going to want to do this at this time, okay? So we're going to pause and I'm going to bring you guys back after I've done consecrating the water and the salt. Okay, now that I've consecrated my salt and the water now is consecrated, I'm just going to take 3 pinches and add it to the water. That's 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. All right. And you remember your rosemary sprig. You're going to swirl that around 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right, so I'm just taking my funnel, putting it onto my little bottle here. And now we are going to go ahead, and this is the part of where you really want to concentrate. You really want to dial in, okay? Remove all distractions, all problems of the day, all issues. You want to clear yourself. Breathe in and breathe out. Right? Breathe in that good energy. Your space is cleansed and clear. We want to just feel good, okay? And now you can either pray over your water. If you do deity work, this is where you're going to ask your deity to actually bless this water, make it holy, right? Of course, Catholicism has a huge, connection with me as far as my craft goes. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing the male aspect of the divine, and I'm asking him to actually bless my water here. Okay, so once again, this is the part that's very personal to your craft. Okay, if you don't work with deities, then of course maybe you only work with ancestors. You're going to ask your ancestors to bless this water. If maybe you work with the elements, you're going to ask them to bless this water, and so forth. Okay, this is the part that's super important. This is what really transforms your water to another level so that it makes it holy, right? So that it is used to take away evil and hexes and things that are very baneful, things that don't work in your best interests. Okay, this water is that important. Okay, so I'm gonna do that part, and then I'm gonna bring you guys back. All right, now that you have prayed over it or asked your deity to make this water holy, you've asked the angels to come in and make it holy, or your ancestors, and so forth. Now we're ready to go ahead and put it into our bottle here. And that's where your strainer is going to come in. This can get messy without a strainer. Now you can just pour it straight into the bottle with the herbs in there. I prefer not to have the herbs inside of it. It's already done its job. So I am just straining it out and just pouring it into my bottle. Perfect. Now with these herbs, just don't throw them away too. You can put them in a sachet or put it onto your altar or put it in a little container, because now it has those that energy of, consecration and purification. And you also, it'll lighten up an area. So if, like, say you sage a room or an area, then you want to put these herbs in that area, right? You can also do a line across your doorway or windows to also guard it. So I'm a firm believer in repurposing or reusing, right? We just don't want to throw this away. We just put a whole bunch of magic into it. Let's use it, right? But now we have our holy water, right? And another thing is what I like to do, because I'm one of those aesthetic whores where it needs to just look kind of cute or witchy. I made a nice little tag here. On one side, I put the symbol of the sun, also represents the God aspect, and also just labeled it holy water. So hopefully you guys can see that. It's kind of cool. So, and of course you can put whatever sigil resonates with you, and I'm just tying it on here so that I just know that, hey, by the way, what's inside this bottle? It's holy water. And plus it just makes it cute, right? I'm a sucker for that. I just like, it's going to be on my shelf, and it's going to be in my supplies of witchy stuff. So why not make it cute, right? I mean, yeah. So there we go. That's the finished product. We have our holy water, and we have it labeled. And now, like, Gerard, what are you going to do with it, right? So now you can just sprinkle it on yourself, right? You can sprinkle it around an area of your house. I do like to sprinkle it around my sleeping area. Also, I like to do it around like doorways and so forth. I'll even do sigils and pentacles and all kinds of symbols onto like the doorways or the walls. You can do it on your mirrors. There's so many things you can use your holy water for. You can put it in like a few drops into your tea. Now, a little goes a long way, right? You don't need to like pour a whole bunch and feel like, oh my gosh, I need a whole bunch in order to, use your holy water. No, just a little bit goes a long way, right? A dab is a lot, because you got to remember it is now blessed, and everything that it touches purifies and consecrates that thing, right? So putting it a little bit in your tea or coffee in the morning, putting it into your mop water so it's sort of like a floor wash, putting it into a spray and spraying it into the air, okay? Now, as far as longevity of it, use it until it's gone, right? But if you still have a lot left and 6 months have gone by, I would go ahead and now give it back to the earth, go ahead and water into a plant and make a new batch. So it's good for about 6 months, and then you want to go ahead and redo this, okay? Make more holy water. So yes. Well, I hope you liked today's video. I absolutely love holy water, consecrated water, blessed water, whatever you want to call it. But I call it holy water because that's what resonates with me. And I hope you liked it. And give it a try. See how it works for you, because let me tell you, this stuff works wonders. So if you can definitely make it, make it. Remember, make the magic your own. Don't feel obligated like, oh my gosh, Gerard has angelica root, hyssop, and rosemary. If those do not work, just make sure to substitute it with like items, right? You want to use like lavender because it has that protective quality, that luck quality. It has that energy about it to give your water that high energy that we're needing, that light energy, that energy of consecration and purification, okay? You're not gonna wanna put cinnamon and, basil, for instance, because those don't have that energy of protection to it. It helps, but it doesn't have that high energy of protection, and that's what we're wanting. Why we want that purification, that consecration. So keep that in mind when you're substituting items. Try to keep it as close to that family as possible. Don't stray too far from it. Now, if you can't get your hands on any of the herbs, maybe you can't even get your hands on salt, then just use your water, right? And then you're just going to bless it. You're going to ask the divine to bless it, the angels, your ancestors, the elements, what have you, to bless your water to make it holy, okay? You are the best person to know how your magic works, how your craft works. But I'm giving you a nice little rubric now. You have a nice little foundation that you can use, or just follow this exactly, and I'm telling you, you're gonna get some good results. So, as always, stay earthy, stay magical, and don't forget, love yourself and others. Bye for now.